Est-ce que c'était un bon tableau, celui-là, qui correspond à ce que vous attendez de cette transformation toute récente qui va du conceptual art à cette nouvelle version d'une certaine figuration, pourrait-on dire? Vous croyez? Cependant, cette couleur rappelle quand même nettement la peinture qu'on faisait au moment de l'art abstrait, n'est-ce pas? Êtes-vous certain que ce n'est pas un nouvel académisme? Et mais s'il s'agit d'audace, c'est tout de même une audace contestable. Il s'agit tout de même de marcher. Ben, il va falloir les vendre, ces tableaux. Que feront les gens qui ont acheté les choses précédentes? Vont-ils les revendre? Ou bien continueront-ils... Que pensez-vous? Parce que, à ce moment, beaucoup d'artistes se posent la question. Alors, fermez les musées. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une... Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. This is not a pipe. This is a pipe. Pipe is not. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. This is not a pipe. This is a pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Ceci est une interview recueillie au musée d'art moderne département des Aigles, 12 Birdcalls à Düsseldorf. Ceci est une interview recueillie au musée d'art moderne département des Aigles, 12 Birdcalls à Düsseldorf.
La méthode Paranoïa critique.
La célèbre méthode paranoïaque critique, il a la vertu que c'est une méthode que j'ai inventée il y a maintenant plus de 35 ans, et malgré qu'il fonctionne à merveille, encore aujourd'hui, moi-même, je ne sais pas en quoi elle consiste. Mais une chose est certaine, c'est qu'il sert merveilleusement pour gagner de l'argent. Et vous savez que l'argent, et surtout l'or, c'est une de mes passions. Après Madame Dali, ce que j'aime le plus, c'est l'or. C'est pour ça qu'à New York, quand je dors le mieux, c'est quand à la fin de la journée, je pense à la quantité de chèques et de dollars que je vois tomber vraiment comme dans une diarrhée. Alors là, on s'endort avec une satisfaction inouïe. Cette méthode, que je ne sais pas en quoi elle consiste, elle a été quand même définie. Et la définition est la suivante. Méthode paranoïaque critique, 2 points. Méthode spontanée de connaissance irrationnelle, grâce à laquelle on dirige et on rend tangible tous les phénomènes délirants. Et alors quand je dis tangible, ça veut dire que ces phénomènes délirants sont rendus cartésiens. C'est pour ça qu'il y a un mot paranoïaque, c'est le maximum du délire, et critique, qui veut dire le maximum de raisonnement. Tout ça, ça voudrait dire, d'une façon courte, que Dali est un fou de bonne qualité et de précision, un fou de précision.
You got?
In Polish?
Yeah. Let's
Probably,
try it.
probably not too many.
We'll try it and see how, before you wear down.
Well, I'd probably just say what I already told you.
And no more?
I don't know. So I'm having trouble thinking of any more.
Have you tried to make some up?
You mean pretend Polish?
No. Just make up your own insults.
Oh, but use real Polish words?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if I could do that either. I can really make up the language really easily. I can make up the language.
You can make it up.
I'll make up the language. I mean, if you're going to make up the swear word, why not make up the language?
But then you make up the meanings for it too?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Well, you don't really know if I'm really just
That's
very
true.
Polish
Okay.
anyway, do you?
That's all right. Well, what would you say if you had to make it up?
Okay, so now this is even more difficult. I have to really, let me see.
It's coming hard.
Okay. Okay, so you want it in Polish first?
Yeah,
and
Polish.
then the translation?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, lama vinata la gara skupstva.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means your dog is so fucked up it can't piss in a straight line.
Well, how come you can get better that way when you make it up? Okay, think of another way.
You liked that one?
That was very good.
That's very good. Okay. You should have asked me when I just woke up.
Okay. What would you have said?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Okay. Can I say it in Hebrew?
Yeah?
Or is that, what's that?
I don't know.
Wake up. Okay.
You're going to switch to Hebrew now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is also pretend Hebrew.
Okay.
Okay. זה לא מספיק שאני לא רוצה להגיד את זה, אבל זה ככה, שאני לא רוצה זה. Okay?
And you just made all that up?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
It means, you're so corrupt, if you kept tadpoles as pets, they'd never turn into frogs.
Say it again. What was that?
I said,
Yeah.
you're so bad, you're so vile,
Uh-huh.
that if you had tadpoles as pets, they'd never turn into frogs.
That's terrible. How could you say something like that? That's the worst thing I could ever think of. Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
My God. Listen, you're doing terrific. One more.
One more?
Yeah.
Oh.
Make it this terrible. Maybe this is your last pitch. Go out flaming.
Go out flaming?
No, I mean.
I know.
Okay, all right.
But that's an important statement. Wait.
Okay.
Go out flaming. I'm just realizing that the really bad things I think of aren't really that bad.
You have to what?
The bad things I think of aren't really that bad.
Okay, well, make it as bad as you can. We really wither somebody with your comment. It's less than a minute, so you gotta hurry.
Oh, you have a timer?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You got about 30 seconds.
Okay. מה זה שאתה עושה אבק לזה?
What does that,
זה רוע. Okay?
what does that mean?
It's not very bad, but it just means, this is stupid. I can't translate and I have less than 10 seconds. Wait, it's coming. Please give me another 10 seconds. Wait. John, stop the machine.
Can't do it.
I forgot. It's going to go off, isn't it? Okay, it means, did you have a nose job?
Is that what it means? Okay, well, I'll cut it off there.
I had to make that up on the spur of the moment because I forgot the vile thing I made up before.
Okay.
Aren't you glad you called me?
Loser!
You're losing.
You're a loser.
You lost
You're
again.
really lost.
You're losing.
Loser!
You're
Loser,
a
loser, loser!
Loser.
You're a loser!
Loser.
You loser!
You lost again.
You lost again!
You're gonna lose.
You're a loser! A loser, loser, loser!
Loser.
You're a loser!
Loser.
You're a loser!
You're gonna lose.
Lose, 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 lose!
You're gonna lose. You're a loser. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
You're a loser!
You're gonna lose.
Salvador Dali, à quelle époque de votre vie vous êtes-vous rendu compte que vous aviez du génie?
La conscience de mon génie s'est produite subitement. Au début, j'ai joué à faire le génie, à paraître un génie, peut-être à 20 ans, et je le faisais uniquement pour épater les journalistes ou des gens comme vous, les gens qui venaient m'interviewer, etc. Alors, je n'y croyais pas du tout, je le faisais uniquement comme un jeu. C'est pour ça que j'ai dit dernièrement, attention à jouer au génie, parce qu'on risque de le devenir.
Dictionary of a language in which each word would be translated into French order by several words, when necessary by a whole sentence. Of a language which one could translate in its elements into known languages, but which would not reciprocally express the translation of French words or of French or other sentences. Makes this dictionary by means of cards. Find how to classify this card, alphabetical order, but which alphabet? Alphabet, or rather a few elementary signs like a dot, a line, a circle, etc., to be seen, which will vary according to the position, etc. Sound of this language, is it speakable? No. Relation to shorthand. Grammar, that is, how to connect the elementary signs like words, then the groups of signs one to the other. What will become of the ideas of action or of being, verbs, or modulation, adverbs, etc. Buy a dictionary and cross out the words to be crossed out, sign, revise and corrected. For the dictionary, look for the equivalence of colors which cannot be seen. Theory. 10 words found by opening the dictionary at random by A. 10 words found by opening the dictionary at random by B. These two sets of 10 words have the same difference of personality as if the 10 words had been written by A and B with an intention. Or else, it matters little, there would be cases where this personality may disappear in A and B. That is the best case and the most difficult. Dictionary with films taken close up of parts of very large objects, obtained photographic records which no longer look like photographs of something. With these semi-microscopics constitute a dictionary of which each film would be the representation of a group of words in a sentence, or separated so that this film would assume a new significance, or rather that the concentration on this film of the sentences or words chosen would give a form of meaning to this film, and that, once learned, this relation between film and meaning translated into words would be striking and would serve as a basis for a kind of writing which no longer has an alphabet or words but signs, films, already freed from the baby talk of all ordinary languages. Find a means of filing all these films in such order that one could refer to them as in a dictionary.
Pronounce perfect until it appears.
I woke up one morning and my friend called me. Her name's Mary Ann, and she asked if I could come over to her house, and her mom said no. And we started to argue and stuff, and she just said no. And so we dropped that subject, and then my brother says, do you want to go out to the field and walk around and stuff with Mike and David? And I go, okay, that would be fun. Okay. And then David brought this play bow and arrow, and we were shooting at cans with BB guns and stuff. And David shot this arrow up in the air, and we went to go find it. And Mike says, it went this way. And I go, no, it didn't. It went this way. And I went through the bushes, and I thought I went into a prickle bush, but I was bit by a rattlesnake. And I was crying, and I didn't know what to do. And Mike says, just sit down, and I'll go get help. And so he went to go get help, and these two men came and wrapped a tourniquet around my leg and took me to the hospital. And I was all right in 2 weeks.
Ew.
Africa, and a couple, well, in November. She started in November, and she came back in December 1st, and then she saw this lion trapped in a trap, and it's this trap. It's round and it has needles sticking around it, and the animal, if it gets caught in its leg, if its leg gets caught in the trap, he can't move it, otherwise it'll go in more, and it has poisonous tips. And my mother saw giraffe and some African Indians, and after she saw them, she went on this bus, and she saw a big giant elephant, and it had tusks that went all the way down to the ground, and it was the size of two elephants, one standing on top of the other, and then the man came up and to talk to my mother and my father, and my mother said that that elephant should be named Shamu, but she didn't know how to explain it, and she said Shamu is a giant whale. They named it Shamu because it was so big, and it's on a show, and so he said, okay, Shamu is the name of that elephant for the rest of the whole time it lives. And after that they went to the country where, well, same country, but to the place where the Indians live, and the Indians followed them with just walk behind the car, and after that my mother went to see the giraffes again, and one of the giraffes started running after him, and after a while my mother slept there, and the next morning they got up and got dressed and did all that stuff, and they went out on the car again. They went to the bar, and where all the dancing African Indians were, and a buffalo was there, a rhinoceros was there, hippopotamus was there, and that elephant was there. And then one of those, what are those things that have the horn sticking out?
Rhino?
Yeah, the rhinos. One of the rhinos started chasing them in the car, and the rhino almost popped the wheel with his because he had a little sticking out of his foot, and it hurted him. He almost popped the wheel, and then he said, well, who wants to chase those guys? And then he started walking away, and this mother elephant had a baby, and the mother died, and the baby was still alone, and the baby didn't know what to do, and this buffalo came, and a tiger wasn't the enemy of the elephant, and because when a tiger comes and there's a baby animal, he doesn't harm that guy.
He only harms the big guys. And, because the big guys always harm the other big guys, but the little guys don't harm each other. And, the tiger said, "Get out of here, you buddy!" And then he started chasing the buffalo. And the buffalo said, "I'm getting scared." And he started to run away. And my mother got trapped by the buffalo. And my dad came out and got to my mother finally. And my mother said, "Ooh, that was close," and almost collapsed. And after she collapsed, my father, she fainted, I meant, and my father took the a paper, his, what do you call it? You keep it up in your pocket.
Notebook?
No, well, he took his book that he signs all the animals that he knows about, and he waved it on her, and then she started going, she got up. And then, now it was December 1st. They had to take a plane all the way from Africa to the airport. And then they came home, and they brought my mother, our whole family, what do you call it? A rug, and the rug was a zebra skin, and it had his head and everything, ears and everything. His eyes were marbles, and it looked like he was real, because he was going like that. He was opening his mouth as wide as he could, and after he opened his mouth as wide as he could, my mother started going, and then because my father bought it, she didn't let my mother see it, because it was a prize for everybody. Then my mother bought a doll. It was carved, and it has 2 eyes, and a mouth and a nose shaped, and it had hair made out of what are those things? Rotten. Well, it had hair made out of wood. It was just streaks of wood. They cut it off, and it could wiggle back and forth, and put jewels on it, like beads and everything, and long strings. And my mother also bought some napkin things. You put your napkin in it, and it was a round thing with a little stand and a tiger on top of it, or a zebra, or anything, any kind of animal, and any kind of animal that they saw. And and they went to this place where a boy lived, and then right across from his house, they had a little like playing house. But the boy didn't want it to be a playing house because they had a boy there, and he said, well, I'll turn this thing into a sculpture place. And he was hunting around with his father all the time, and he found zebra sculpture, giraffe sculpture, hippopotamus sculpture, and what was it? Oh yeah, Tickety, reindeer. It's a reindeer called Tickety. And they saw one of those sculptures of the whole body. And he put them together on like a board, like in the dinosaur thing, and he had a museum, and everybody came over there, and they saw the whole thing, and when my mother came home, she had to take a plane, and she's bringing home, all the stuff and that I just told you, and she's bringing home. She went to Holland too, and she brought me shoes. She brought me those shoes that the girls wear and the boys, and the girls. And my baby, and when my mother came home, my baby brother went, "Mommy!" and ran right up to her, and just went smack right in the face. But my mom didn't care, because she had glasses on. It almost broke her glasses, but it didn't work. Because it was made out of bone, see-through bone. And after that, my mother came home, and you know that. I forgot to tell you about this. Well, my mother came home. She was limping on her leg. She said, "I think I broke my foot." And then I looked at her and I said, "Mom, you didn't break your foot." "Well, I sprained it." I looked at it again. It wasn't sprained. It was just twisted around once. And then that's the end.
Hi, my name's Chris Burden. My address is 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I can't legally do this, but let's imagine that I asked everybody who's listening tonight to send me money, just to send it directly to me. It would be such a small sacrifice for all of you, and it could really do something for me. If you could just send money directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Over the years, I've done a number of things for you people out there in the public. I've done things for free. I've put ads on television. They all cost me money, and tonight I'm asking you to send me money. Send it directly to me. Can you imagine what a great thing this would be if it could happen? I can't legally ask you to do this, but I can just ask you to imagine what would happen if it did happen. If everybody listening could just send me $1 or quarter even. That's all I'm asking. A quarter from everybody. Can you imagine? This would be fantastic. If you could just send it directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California. If you could just send me money directly, without any kind of in between. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not part of a religious group. I'm just asking you to imagine the possibility of you sending me money directly. My name is Chris Burden. The address is 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you can just think of maybe going right now and getting an envelope and writing my address on it. I'll repeat the address again. Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I know that some of you probably are more fortunate than others, and that it's very unlikely that everybody will be sending me money. So maybe some of you could send more to make up for some of the people that aren't sending any. I'm just asking you to imagine the possibility, if this could really happen. If you could all just send something, it would be very fantastic, because it would be such a small sacrifice on your part, and it could really make a difference to me. It could make me closer to being rich. So this is what I'm doing tonight. I'm asking you to imagine the possibility of sending money directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Maybe you saw my full financial disclosure several years ago. My public one. I only made about $1,000. I need money. So this would be a fantastic thing if you could actually do this. I can't legally ask you to do this, but I want you to imagine the possibility of it actually happening, of people everywhere, all over the country, sending me 25 cents. This would really make a big impact on my life and my lifestyle. And my address again is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking you to imagine. The idea of you sending money directly to me. I'm not selling anything. I'm not part of any organization. I'm not a charity. I'm just asking you to think of sending money directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California. This could really change the way I live, and it would be such a small sacrifice on your part, just something that you could do without even feeling it. And if enough of you did it, it would be a fantastic thing. It would really make a difference. So I'm asking you again to send money to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I want you to do, or to imagine doing, is actually going right now, and getting an envelope. I know that somewhere you must have some envelopes, stamps. I think you should do it now while you're thinking about it. Don't wait. If you put it off, it may never happen. So this is what I'm asking you to imagine, the possibility of everybody out there who's listening to me to send money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking everybody who's listening to consider the possibility of sending me money directly to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, legally, I can't ask you to do this or make you do it in any way, but I can only suggest the possibility that it happen, that everybody out there actually send something, actually go and do it. Send me some money to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. This would be a great thing for me, and it wouldn't cost you very much at all. You could hardly feel it. And yet, if you all united, you could all really make an impact. You could do something for me directly. You could send the money to me at 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's Chris Burden. I'm asking you to send the money directly to me, or to imagine sending it, rather, directly to me. My name is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking you to consider the possibility of actually putting a dollar bill or maybe a $10 bill in an envelope, wrapping it with paper so that it doesn't get stolen, and sending it directly to me at my address. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. This is what I'm asking you to consider the possibility that if everyone contributed in some small way, that I'd be almost rich. And if everybody across the country could do this, just send me a quarter, I'd be substantially wealthy. And it'd be I think everybody in this country could afford a quarter. And I think that you people ought to consider that this is something that could happen. You should imagine it as a possibility. And this is what I want you to do, to consider sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's right. For you people that are just tuning in, I'm asking you to consider the possibility of sending money directly to me, because I want your money. Send it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking you to consider what a great thing this would be if everybody could just send something. I'd prefer dollar bills. They're a lot easier to handle. But I would even consider just a quarter from everybody. I think anything less is not worth it considering the postage involved. So I'm just asking everybody to consider the possibility, the what if everybody out there could send me a quarter or more. Send it directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm not part of any religious organization, any charity. I'm not affiliated with anyone except myself. I'm a private artist, just a person, and I need money, and I'm asking you to consider the possibility if you could just consider sending money directly to me. That's to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could just consider what a great thing it would be, and it would be such a small sacrifice on your part, something smaller than a soft drink, than a candy bar even, and you could not ever feel it, but cumulatively as a group, you could really make a big impression on me. That's what I want you to do for you people who are just sort of getting into this now. If you could just consider doing it right now, it is a possibility. It is something to think about. If somehow everybody out there could be asked to think of sending me some money. If you could just send money to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider the possibility of sending money to me. I don't have very much money, and I need more money. So if this could actually happen, it would be a fantastic thing. If it could just be sent to me. If you can imagine sending me money. I'm not selling you anything, and you don't get anything, you wouldn't get anything out of it except knowing that collectively you contributed to making one person rich. If you think about it, this can only happen if everybody sends something. It can only happen for one person, unfortunately, but it's better than not having it happen for anyone. And it doesn't really affect you very much. If you just dig in and shell out something, you wouldn't hardly feel it. If you could just imagine doing that. Now, I know that some of you maybe are thinking about this. It is a possibility. It is something to think about, that if it could actually happen. Of course, it legally can't happen, but I can't legally ask you to do this, but I'm suggesting the possibility. I'm suggesting that you think about it as something that could happen in other places, other times. If you could just think about sending me money that as an actual thing that could happen. If everybody could send me just a quarter, or, well, I'd hope that some people would send more, in dealing and considering their wealth, that they would send me more to make up maybe for some people who wouldn't send any. But if everybody on the average could send about 25 cents, this would be fantastic. It would really contribute to my wealth. My name again is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, and I'm asking you to send me money. To think of sending me money, think of what a great thing it would be if they could be sent directly to me. I'm not part of a religion or a charity, or I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to bring up the possibility, the idea that everybody could send me some money. Just to consider this possibility. If you could just send it to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could consider this. It's something I've thought about a lot, and it could really happen if everybody thought about it and was something they could do. If you could think of it happening all across the country, it's a great feeling to think of everybody just sending in a quarter or more. You could send it to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I want you to do tonight, is to consider sending money to me, to think of this as a real possibility. if you could just do it, just think of doing it anyway. Just think of sending money to me. Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now that's what I'm asking tonight. If you're tuned out and you're coming back in, I'm still asking you to consider this possibility, to think of it happening, to imagine it happening, that people could send me money directly. There's no reason why they couldn't. That's what I'm asking you to think about. To think about everybody who's listening tonight to send some sort of money to me directly. To send it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could just think of sending some sort of money to me, that's what I'd like you to consider. Send it directly to me. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Again, I don't make very much money, and I need money. I need more money. So that's what I would like you to do, is to send money, or to think of sending money directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California. Now think of the millions of people in this country. Now if every one of them could somehow be asked or suggested that they send money to me, this would be fantastic. And I think everybody could probably afford 25 cents. That's all I'm really trying to consider, is 25 cents from everyone on the average. Of course it would be nice if some people could think of sending more money, more than 25 cents, directly to me. Thank you. If you've thought about this, I thank you. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. And what I'm asking tonight, if you're listening, is to consider the possibility. I can't legally ask you to do this, to send money to me, but just consider the possibility, if it could happen, if people could send me money directly. Now, isn't this a fantastic idea? If people could send money straight to me, I'm not selling anything, I'm not part of a religious group, I'm not a part of a charity, I'm just a person, and I want your money sent directly to me. And I'm not asking for very much, but as a group, it could really make a difference. You could really make me richer, substantially richer than I am. And yet it wouldn't be painful for anyone. Now if you think about this, it can only happen for one. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking all of you to consider the possibility of sending money directly to me. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. If you're tuning in, if you've tuned out and you're tuning back in again, or if you're just tuning in, I'm considering tonight the possibility, or trying to get you to consider rather, the possibility of what if everybody sent me some money? Everybody who's listening. What if these people could send me money? That's what I'm trying to talk about, to consider the possibility of everybody sending me some money. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking tonight that everybody out there consider that I'm not especially wealthy and that I do need more money. I need money and I need more of it. And I want you to consider the possibility of you people out there making this possible, the possibility of me having more money. If you could just consider sending me some money. My name is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, if you could just really consider doing it. If you imagine the people out there, and I'm sure some of you are some of them, if you could just imagine actually doing it, it is a fantastic thought. If you could actually do it, if we can consider this as a possibility, I can't really legally ask you to do this, but I'm just suggesting it as a possible thing, as something that we can consider happening, although it can't legally happen. If you could just consider it happening, of people just everywhere, all over the country, sending me money. Now, this radio program doesn't reach everybody over the country, so we can just start, if you could just start considering yourselves right now starting to send money. Just you people here that are listening tonight, go right now. If you could just consider going and getting an envelope and putting a stamp on it and doing it right now, then you could dip in and help me become richer. Just get a little more money from your pockets and do it. If you could just consider doing this, the possibility of everyone who's listening sending me some money, sending money to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could just consider this possibility, it could really happen, and it would be a fantastic thing. If you could just consider just the idea of it happening, just the idea of everybody out there sending me some money, sending it directly to me. Just think about this idea. It could really work. It's a fantastic idea, and it would make me richer, a lot richer, and it wouldn't cost you hardly anything. It would just be something you wouldn't notice. You'd forget about it within minutes. If you could just send me money directly, just send it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could send money to me, that's what I want you to consider the possibility. Wouldn't this be a great idea if people could send money to me, directly to me, at 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California? If you could send me some money, this would be great. If everybody out there listening tonight could consider this possibility. Think of this idea of everybody grouping together and sending me some money, everybody grouping together and making me rich with no cost hardly to themselves. This would be great if everybody out there could send me some money. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. This is something I hope that everybody's starting to think about seriously. Sending me some money. I prefer paper money. I would prefer paper money, of course, because it's easier to handle. But on the average, I think if I could just get everybody to contribute about a quarter, to send me a quarter. I'm not part of any religious organization. I don't work for anybody. I'm not trying to fool you in any way. I'm just a person trying to consider the possibility, or having you consider the possibility, of sending money directly to me. My name is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I want you to consider. The possibility that all of you working as a group could make me rich. Now, this is a great idea, and I think if you think about it a little, you'll agree with me that it's so easy for you to do. So easy for you to do, to go down, dig into your pockets, and just pull out a little. Put it in an envelope, put that stamp on it, and again, address it to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could just do that, if you could just send money to me, directly. Now, this is what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider this idea that everybody could send money to me, just a small amount, but as a whole, it would really be something. You could make one person rich, and it wouldn't happen otherwise. It wouldn't happen unless all of you send something. So that's what I'm asking. I'm asking everyone who's listening tonight to consider the possibility or the idea of, what if you sent me money? What if you sent it directly to me? To Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I want you to consider. Yes, sending it to me directly. Send money to me. That's what I'd like you to think about. My name is Chris Burden. My address is 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider that I don't have a lot of money, and that it would be great if all of you could send me some. If you could consider doing this, if you can just consider the idea, conceive of the idea of sending me some money. This would be fantastic. My name is Chris Burden. The address is 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I want you to consider doing. Now, I need money. And I need more money, obviously. So I want you to all consider the possibility of sending me some money. It wouldn't be a very hard thing for you to do. In fact, it would be quite easy. You probably pay bills every day. This wouldn't be much different. And it would be very cheap. Very, very cheap. So this is the plan that I propose, that you consider this possibility, consider this idea. Wouldn't it be great if you could send me money? If you could just send it directly to me. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Obviously, I would prefer the largest amount you could send. But I think even $1 would be sufficient. Don't you? If you could just send me some money. If you could consider this idea of everybody who's listening, and you especially, you, to send me some money. Can you think of this idea? Can you conceive of it? Can you think of actually doing it? It would be a fantastic thing if you could just do it. If you could just think of doing it. If you could just send me some money. Send it to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I can't legally ask you to do this, but I can suggest the possibility that you conceive of the idea, that you just think of doing this. Sending money to me. Yes, my name again is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. And just with a small effort on your part, think how great this would be if all of you, just by sending a small amount, but if everyone did it, if everyone everywhere did it, I would be rich. If everyone listening to this radio program did it, I'd be not rich, but a lot richer than I am. So that's what I'm asking you to do. To consider the possibility of sending me money. Sending money directly to me. Consider this possibility. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking everybody out there who's listening to consider sending me money. Of course, I would accept it any way you sent it. I'm asking you to send me any kind of money, to consider this possibility, the possibility that all of you out there could send money directly to me. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Can you consider this possibility? Just by sending a very small amount, you could make me rich. I don't have a lot of money, and I need more money. So please consider this possibility. The possibility of everyone with a very small penalty to themselves financially could really substantially improve my financial condition. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider this possibility that everyone send me some money. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Yes, I can almost see some of you actually thinking about doing this, conceiving it. Can't you conceive of the idea? Isn't it fantastic? I mean, if you could actually do it, if you could just send me money directly. My name again, Chris Burden. My address, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. If you could just conceive of this possibility of just dipping in, maybe getting a quarter, 50 cents, or even $1, maybe $10. But that's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to conceive of the idea of everyone who's listening to me tonight to send me some money. To conceive of this. It wouldn't cost you very much. It would be hardly felt. But if you could just think of doing it, think of sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I'm not part of any religious organization. I'm not soliciting for any reason. I'm just asking you to conceive of this notion, this idea that everybody would just sort of step sideways once with a little bit of money. Just jog sideways in one direction. And you could send it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Together, all of you could really make a substantial impact. And for any one of you, it would be nothing. Or I won't say nothing, but it would be very, very small. I'm sure it's something you all could probably afford. That's what I'm asking you to do tonight. To conceive of the plan, of the idea of everyone sending me some money. Of sending me money, sending it directly to me. To Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I don't have very much money, and I need more. That's why I'm asking you to conceive of this as a concept of a way where if all of you just took a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and sent it directly to me. I know it's going to cost you a little bit of time. But can't you see it? Can't you see yourself just doing it right now? Just going to get that envelope, putting that stamp on it, and enclosing some money, and sending it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's very simple, really. There's nothing to it. The idea is a very simple one. The idea is that all of you, working together, could make me substantially richer than I am right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm asking you to conceive of this idea of sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California. Now, if you've tuned out for a while and you're tuning back in, and you haven't conceived of this possibility, I want you to think about it, not just as a silly idea, but as something that could really happen. Wouldn't it be fantastic if it could happen? If you could just send some money directly to me, wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be a great thing? My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking you tonight because I'm not a rich man and I need more money. And what is money after all? It's simply an abstraction, and if you just spend a very small amount, it's hardly anything. It's almost invisible. And you won't notice it's gone. You wouldn't. You can see that, can't you? It would hardly be anything. Yet, if you all pull together, can you conceive of this idea? If you all pulled together and sent me some money, it would be great. Without making any one of you in any way poor, or even poorer, I would be richer. This is what I'm asking you to do. To consider this possibility, the possibility of you actually sending me money. Now, isn't this a great plan? This would be great if you could just send money to me. I can't legally ask you to do this, but I can suggest it as an idea, as a concept, where everybody would just send a little bit of money to me. Send it directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking that you consider this as a possibility, as something to do, something to think about. What if everybody could do this? And everybody could, actually. It's just, if you could just think of it, conceive of it, just send me just a little bit. If you could think of sending me some money. Now, I think this would be great. If you could just dig into your pockets and just send a little bit towards me. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not part of any organization. I'm not part of a religious group. I'm not a charity. I'm just a person, an artist, and I need money. And I would like you to send it directly to me, or to consider this possibility. The possibility that if all of you sent me something, that I would be rich. Or richer, rather. If you could just consider doing this, sending money directly to me. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now this is a strange thing for you to be asked to consider. But if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's a sort of a great idea. If all of you could just scoot a little my way, so to speak. If you could just send me a little bit of money. Now, isn't this a great concept? If you could just send money directly to me at 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's all I'm asking, that you consider this possibility, that you consider this as an idea, as a plan, as a concept, that if everyone could send me some money, send money directly to me, I would be richer, and it would be such a painless thing for you to do. That's what I'm asking you to consider. Sending money directly to me. Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking you tonight to consider this as a possibility. I know it may sound strange, but think about it. If everybody could send me just something, wouldn't that be great? If you can consider this possibility. Wouldn't this be a great thing? If you could just send me something? My name is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. And I'm asking tonight that everyone send me something, that you consider this possibility as a concept, as an idea, that just by sending me a little bit of money, just a small amount on your part, something that you wouldn't even feel. Now, if you all do it, or if you all could do it, if you all did it, I could be rich. I could be richer than I am by a lot. And that's what I'm asking you to do tonight, is to consider this as a possibility. Now, if you're tuning in again, I want you to think seriously about it. Think about this concept. Think about the concept of sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'd like you to think about. How fantastic it would be if everyone could just take a small amount of their money and send it to me. This would be great. I would be rich, richer than I am. And none of you would be substantially poorer. It would be almost as if it didn't happen for you, but it would really happen for me. This is what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider this as an idea, as a concept. The concept of everyone sending me some money. Now, I think it's something you ought to think about. Sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291 is the zip code. Yes, you may have heard it before, but I'm still asking you to consider this possibility. The possibility of you sending money directly to me. Now, isn't this a great idea? It would be great if you could do it, if you could consider this possibility. I legally can't ask you to do this, but I can suggest the idea, the concept of it actually happening. I think you can conceive of it happening. Conceive of actually going and putting money in an envelope and writing my name on it. Can you conceive of doing that? My name again is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, it's something you could actually do. It is something that you could actually do right now. You could turn off the radio and go and do it. Or you could leave the radio on. But the idea would be to send me some money. That's what I want you to conceive of. To conceive of this possibility. Now, wouldn't this be fantastic if everyone could just send me a little something? And together as a group, it would really be something substantial to me. You could, all of you out there, you could make one person rich. You, with just sending a very small amount of money, could do this. You could make somebody rich. Wouldn't this be fantastic? Because it wouldn't cost you very much to do this. If all of you could just think of doing this. Wouldn't this be fantastic? Of sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Can you conceive of this idea? I don't work for anybody. I'm not part of a charity. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to have you conceive of the idea of everyone who's listening tonight, who's tuning in, or who's tuned out and is tuning in again, to send me some money. Think about this. If you could just send me a little something. My name again, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I don't have very much money, and I need more money. So I'd like you to consider the idea of sending me money, directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to think about it. You can conceive of it, can't you? Actually doing it. It's so painless. It would be so painless for all of you to do it. And yet, it would be a great thing if you could just think of doing it. Think of actually going down, getting the stamps, getting the envelope, putting some money in it. If you can conceive of this idea, I mean, I'm sure if you all could think of going that far, you can probably imagine the letter might be mailed afterwards, because once letters usually are addressed and stamped, they get mailed. So I want you to consider this idea, the idea of everyone out there sending me some money. It's just an idea, it's just a concept. But wouldn't it be fantastic? Wouldn't it be fantastic if all of you could send money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291 is the zip. That's what I'm asking tonight. I'm asking you to consider the idea of sending money directly to me. Yes, this may at first seem like a strange thought, but actually it makes a lot of sense. Because just a few dollars, a few cents from all of you, from each and every one of you, could substantially contribute to my wealth, to making me richer than I am right now, a lot richer. And it would hardly cost you anything. That's what I'm asking you to conceive of. The idea of all of you out there sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Yes, it's a pretty simple concept, but can't you think of how wonderful it would be and how painless it would be for all of you, and how wonderful for me? It's hardly asking you anything, just to conceive of sending me money. Can you think of this as a concept, as an idea of sending money directly to me? It's a very simple thought. And I need money. Can you conceive of doing this? My name is Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, and the zip code is 90291. Can you just conceive directly to me? It's a simple thought. And if you could just send something, think of it. Wouldn't this be great if all of you could just send a little something to me? Just by sending me a very small amount, you could substantially contribute to my wealth. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you all to just sort of just chip a few my way, and the total force of all of you would make something happen. And it would hardly be anything for all of you. Think of this. Think of sending me money directly. It's not a bad idea. And it would be so easy if it could happen. If everyone could just send a little something to me. My name, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, I know this may seem strange, like a strange idea, but if you think about it just a little bit, it's actually quite simple. And it would be such an easy thing for everyone to do. Painless, too. It would be a painless thing for everyone. Because it would be the money, you wouldn't even feel it. A day from now, you could forget about it. Yet, for me, I would remember it for the rest of my life. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to consider the possibility of you sending some money to me. Sending money to me, sending it directly to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I need money. I don't have much money. So I'm asking you to consider what a great thing it would be if everyone could send some money to me. It would be so simple for everybody to do. Can't you see that? It just wouldn't be hardly anything. And yet, if all of you grouped together, you could really make something happen. I know it may sound like a silly idea, but if you really think about it, it could happen. It's not inconceivable. I can only suggest the idea to you, but if all of you could send some money to me, think about that. My name, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. I'm asking you to consider this as something to really think about, as a concept. The idea of everybody just sending something. Now, wouldn't it be fantastic if you people that were more fortunate could send something substantial? But I think the real important thing is that everybody think about sending something. Just consider this possibility. It's not a bad plan. If you could just send something, think about it as a possibility, as a concept. Just sending some money to me. It's just an idea. It's not something I can make you do. I just want you to think about it as a concept. The concept of everybody by contributing a very small amount could really make something happen. It's by pooling, by all pushing in one direction, you could really substantially improve my income. And it would be so painless for you, so painless to send a little something. It's not a bad idea, is it? Think about it. If you could just think about doing this as a possibility. If you could just think about sending money directly to me. Do you think this is a possibility? Do you think this is something you could think about? The concept of everybody just jogging a little towards me, stepping to the left, everybody doing it at once, and all of a sudden it would be something substantial. And it would be such a small and a minor thing for you to do. Yet if you all did it, it would be fantastic. It would really be something if you could just all do it. My name, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Can you think of this idea? You think of it spread throughout the whole country. If only everybody in the whole country could just send me a quarter, wouldn't that be great? It certainly would for me, and it would be hardly anything for anybody. A quarter, everybody's got one extra quarter. So it's such a simple idea, such a easy thing to think about. And that's what I want you to think about tonight, the possibility of this happening, of people sending money to me, sending money to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Is this something you can think about? Is this something you could really think about doing? Going down, getting the envelope, putting a stamp on it, addressing it to me, Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. This is something I want you to think about. I don't have a lot of money, and I need more money. And if people everywhere could send me money, I would have it. This would be a great thing. Just think of this possibility of everybody sending me a little bit of money. If you all sent me some money, I'd be richer. If you could just send money to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Now, that's all I want you to consider, the possibility of sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. It's such a simple idea, and it's so painless for all of you. It's such an easy thing. Can you conceive of doing this? Just taking some amount of money and sending it to me. Can you think of doing that? It would be so easy. It's as if the money was invisible for you, but all of a sudden it becomes visible for me. It's so easy. In such small amounts, it's invisible. But when it's all put together, it's like the old story of the trees in the forest. If you could just do it, you could make it happen. Can you conceive of doing this? Actually, sending money directly to me, to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Could you think of doing that? Sending money to me? It's so easy. It's so painless for you, and it could be such a great thing for me. I would remember it. You would forget it. Could you think of doing that? Can you think of this possibility, the possibility of sending me money directly to Chris Burden, 823 Oceanfront Walk, Venice, California, 90291. Thank you.
Here at KPFK. This has been a special broadcast of Close Radio, brought to you by the Highland Art Agents. The Highland Art Agents...
L'unique différence, et c'est une différence importante, mais minime quand même, l'unique différence entre moi et un fou, c'est que je ne suis pas fou. Bonjour.
I am that I am. I am that I. Am I? Am that. I am. I am. That I am. I am that I am. I am that am I. Am I that I am? Am I that am? I that I am. Am that I? Am I? That I am. That am I am. That I am. Am I? That I am. That am I. I that am I. I that am. I am I. Am that. I am. Am I that? Am I that I am? I am that I am. I am I that am. I am I that. I am that am I. I am that. I am that. I am that I am I. Am that. Am I? Am that I am that I am that am I am that I am that I am that I am that I
am.
What do you call it? Animal. What do you call it? Animal. What do you call it? Animal.